And welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. We're here. It's another week. This is Mike, as always, and next to me is Paul. I'm doing the thing tonight.
Hey,
I'm saying it.
hey.
We're a podcast about obscure and overlooked movies. And tonight we're going to talk about one of those movies. Tonight we're going to talk about King Solomon's Mine.
1985.
1985 King Solomon's Mine, starring Richard Chamberlain as Allan Quatermain.
Yeah. Did you know there's been many Allan Quatermains?
Yeah, well, my instinct is to do most of this in a Sean Connery accent because he is the Allan Quatermain that I always think of first because he was in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I did not know until we did this movie that Patrick Swayze played Allan Quatermain in 2004. There is I guess it was a mini-series, but it's 2 episodes. That's how it's listed on IMDb, but it's 2 1.5-hour episodes, so I'm guessing mini-series. But Patrick Swayze plays Allan Quatermain.
I refuse to believe that.
I refuse to believe that he did a worse job than the movie we may have just watched.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that as we go through it. This movie was a weird trip.
Let me give you the IMDb.
Yeah, read us the synopsis.
Yeah, the synopsis. Fortune hunter Allan Quatermain teams up with a resourceful woman to help find her missing father, lost in the wilds of 1900s Africa. That's vague as hell. While being pursued by hostile tribes and a rival German explorer. This is World War One. It's abundantly clear. So 1900s, that's pretty vague. That's just not the scenario.
Yeah, the Allan Quatermain book was late 19th century, I want to say.
Yeah, so Allan Quatermain, the character, was introduced by the author H. Rider Haggard. Hogarth. And the book was released in 1885.
Okay.
The novel was King Solomon's Mines. It was followed up, I believe, with another book, and then I think several novellas or shorter stories.
Well, this movie has a sequel that was filmed at the same time as this movie.
Yeah, I read some weird trivia about some of this. That's one of the main things that I saw. That I have a couple of things. One. No one wanted to be in this film.
That's correct.
2, the sequel to this film was filmed right alongside of it, and it did not do well. And apparently in 1986, basically went direct to video. I don't even know what to say about that for 1986 standards.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, let's talk about some of the people in this movie. So we mentioned Richard Chamberlain, who I maybe only know from this movie.
The Chamb.
Yeah. We also have Sharon Stone.
He's in the Towering Inferno.
Okay.
Another notable movie is The Last Wave.
Okay.
And we sure as hell do have Sharon Stone. I told Mike, or I asked Mike, did you read any of the trivia on IMDb or elsewhere before this movie? And he said no. Did you read how she was hired?
I did, yeah.
Okay. You should stall everyone for a second because I'm going to read this IMDb trivia. If it is true or not, I would like to know if it was true because it is bananas.
Yeah, it's a fun piece of trivia. I have to believe that it's not true because there were some follow-up pieces of trivia that might contradict this, but it's pretty good. There's also, this movie is kind of loaded with, maybe loaded is the wrong word. There are other actors in this movie. So this movie is clearly just Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah,
but different.
But also Temple of Doom Temple of Doom in areas.
Yeah, definitely capitalizing on Indiana Jones's success. Also capitalizing on Indiana Jones's success is Jonathan Rhys-Davies.
Yeah,
Gimli, son of Gloin, is in this movie, who is also in Indiana Jones. And I can't tell if he's a good actor or if I just think he is because he was in Lord of the Rings.
There's a lot of questions.
Nobody was enjoying themselves here.
I would say this. I would default to he is a good actor because everyone and every piece of trivia we read is they were basically duped into this movie and kind of a sequel. So the producer for this film apparently wanted Kathleen Turner, who was, and I'm reading this verbatim, who was coming off the hit film Romancing the Stone. Side note, I love that film. The sequel to that movie is not very good, but Romancing the Stone is awesome. Definitely overlooked film. I would say kind of Indiana Jones. And these movies, like this ilk of movies, because I'm sure everyone was trying to capitalize on a lot of stuff that Indiana Jones was doing. This movie is no different. Romancing the Stone is somewhat similar in kind of this like treasure adventure, but definitely an overlooked film. But going back, the producer wanted Kathleen Turner, who was the star of that, to star in this film. Again, the film was Romancing the Stone. He said, "I want that stone woman," and Sharon Stone was hired by mistake. I don't even know what to say about that.
No. Can I give you, this is an unrelated piece of trivia, but it's a John Rhys-Davies piece of trivia that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the TV show Sliders?
Mike, you know I'm familiar with Sliders.
Okay, so apparently, like, during the filming of Sliders, Jerry O'Connell was the main character?
Yeah.
Him and John Rhys-Davies became, like, BFF bros, and because they were both, I think, newly single at the time, they just went clubbing at night, like, after shooting. And I would...
Oh, yeah, often? Like, oh my God.
No, yeah, it was like a frequent thing, I guess. And I would give anything to go clubbing in the 90s with Jerry O'Connell and John Rhys-Davies.
Especially during their Slider success. Like,
Right.
Hey, do you know, let me slide into your real early cell phone.
Fun fact, that's how the term slide into your DMs was originated. It was from Sliders and John Rhys-Davies and Jerry McConnell sliding into to all the ladies. It wouldn't have been cell phone, like slider, pager lists of phone number. Wow, I lost that one. Anyway, let's carry on.
That train got derailed quickly.
Oh, it did. It did.
Just going through, there are some notable people in this film. And so reading through the trivia, it seems like Richard Chamberlain thought he was doing one film, saw one script, and later said, "This is not the script that I was given, and this isn't really what I signed on to do." Again, everyone's like, they're going to make so much money. It doesn't matter. Indiana Jones is just raking it in. So we're going to do 2 films. We're going to save money. It's just really, really weird.
It is really weird. I can see where he got duped because, I mean, clearly they sold him on this was going to be like a new Indiana Jones franchise. Also, every scene that has him and Sharon Stone in it is kind of like jokey and sort of lighthearted. Like he's cracking wise a lot.
Yeah.
But other scenes aren't that way. Like all the scenes. So we'll get into it more. But John Rhys-Davies and I don't know the actor's name, Chief Inspector Dreyfus from the Pink Panther, who plays like the German lead guy.
Colonel Bockner.
Colonel Bockner, yeah. Like the scenes with them are kind of mean-spirited.
Yes.
Yeah, like it definitely has kind of the feel of like, okay, this might be 2 different movies that were being filmed at one time. So yeah, I mean, if you're just shooting your scenes and cracking wise, and then you see the end result, it's like, oh, okay, that's the movie we just did. Cool.
Yeah, this movie is like a weird mystery for me. Like we just watched it, and there are some fun scenes. Like I don't want to downplay that. There are other good elements, I guess, but I think one big thing for me is like Allan Quatermain just kind of sucks. He's not really good at anything in this film. No. He knows, I guess, he says words here and there. Like in theory, he's supposed to know, he's a linguist. He's supposed to know all these languages. Maybe he has a little background in archaeology or exploring or something along those lines. It's never really demonstrated. He is not really good with a gun. He is lucky at best with what he does. And it oftentimes, if he's overpowered, then just like the next scene is, it doesn't matter. He's just not punching people in the face and they go down with one hit. So he is just like a super mysterious character. And I think my problem is it's a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen where that's not the character of Sean Connery. He's like a ball-busting explorer who is just not having it. He might have like a deep-rooted joke here and there, but like this Allan Quatermain is kind of a clown.
Yeah, no, he sucks. Yeah, I mean, my first exposure to Allan Quatermain was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So I when I so yeah
And all I knew is there was a book or like stories before.
yeah for sure.
And I would not have even said like, oh, 1885. I probably would have been like early 1900s. Like
Right.
that would have been my guess. I would have been wrong.
100%. Yeah, I'm thinking this is kind of like in the Jules Verne era, like that. Maybe that kind of. I don't know.
Haggard. I think that's his name.
Haggard, sure. But yeah, so I mean, this is the second time I've seen this movie. It popped up on, like Amazon or something late at night one time a couple years ago, and I watched it maybe a little drunk. And I didn't really remember it, but I remember thinking like, this is not the Allan Quatermain that I thought.
Yeah, like the other thing too is knowing that this is basically okay. So that was some trivia I read, even going into this, but it's very clear. So this book was written 1885, and that's kind of the Allan Quatermain you get, like the late 1800s, and this is World War One. So it's kind of weird with his weird getup. He's got this weird like bandana, like this leopard print bandana that goes around his. I don't know, like weird hat. What kind of hat is he wearing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know hat names.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of a riff on a fedora, but it's kind of like a explorer fedora. there.
Yes.
I'm gonna tag that.
Yeah, it's
but
like a Crocodile Dundee hat.
Yeah, but so he's kind of like all like, I'm like wearing the skins of Africa and through my explorations. And he's got this assistant, this gentleman we know nothing about. Like, this is super bizarre. And I don't like Umbopo. Like that's his like gentleman assistant. He's wearing like I don't know, like a
leopard skin.
like a leopard skin toga.
Yeah.
that he's holding half the time.
Yeah, it
Clearly
keeps falling off.
Wardrobe's malfunctioning left and right.
They couldn't find a clothespin for him.
But yeah, everything's super bizarre because I don't really like it's just if you saw this in the World War One era, you'd be like, what the extra hell? I think in the late 1800s, someone would be like, are you an explorer? And that's what they're going on, but like no one else is really like dressed like that. It's just weird. It's super weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
It is really weird. This movie is really weird.
Oh, so, okay, I see one of my first things that I note. So this movie opens up. There's some kind of professor. They're like, read us these things, like translate. And he's like, I'll never do it. And they're like, you'll be sorry. And then it's super weird. And a spiked metal mallet of sorts.
Yeah, it's like a meat tenderizer
Like,
flies
but like-
down from the ceiling.
Yeah, a
and-
meat tenderizer, like it for humans. Like that's how
Right.
big it is.
Yeah, no, it's like a big like trap. And they're in some guy's antique shop, I think.
Maybe it's the professors. I don't know where.
No,
they
it's
are.
Kazam's.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
We'll get to
Kazam.
because when
That doesn't sound right, but
no,
it is.
But
it
that's
is
what they say. Yeah, There's a lot of things that I want to say about in this movie, and know that if I say something weird and like seemingly insensitive, it is because that is how this movie is portraying everybody.
Yeah.
in the most awful ways possible.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things. Like it's really hard to get through. You're just like, holy God, this is like. I mean, would this hold up to today? No. I mean, this movie is going to be like cancel cultured across the board for so many reasons. If anyone saw it, I mean, I don't think we need to go to those extremes with a movie like this, but. Good Lord, like no one gave a shit.
Well, I mean, even at the time, I read this in the trivia, like some kind of league of Arab something. I don't know, like not protesters, but some kind of like group boycotted the movie because of the way that Arab people were represented as 100% only slave dealers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame people. I mean, that is the representation we get. Also, this movie crash opens, and I do not mean that, realistically, physically, more metaphorically. All of a sudden, you are introduced to Allan Quatermain and Jesse, and they're just talking like people like, hey, we're going to go get some food, and we're going to go talk stuff.
They're in the jungle, just like hanging out, walking around. You don't know why they're there.
Yeah, there is no backstory whatsoever. You are just introduced to some people having a weird conversation about their day-to-day lives.
Yes.
And it's actually quite some time before you even figure out what the hell's going on. I mean, you could allude to it, or I mean, there are allusions to it and you could guess it, but it's kind of weird. And the first thing I note is I had to rewind it. So they show Sharon Stone. Like you see her talking. She's talking to Allan Quatermain. Her character's name is Jessie. She's talking, and they kind of zoom in on her face, and she smiles. And all of a sudden, letterbox format drops, and now it's full screen. And we were watching this on Tubi. It is super disarming.
Yeah, and it was letterboxed top to bottom, so it was like I don't know ratios. I mean, I know like 16:9 is what a TV is. So this was wider than that, and then it just flashed and it was 16:9.
Yeah, it was
distracting.
Yeah, it was immediate.
Yeah.
And then we get a bunch of caricatures of everyone we're going to see in this film. And that's why I could see the protests. So we get this cut scene where this German Colonel Bockner is working with John Rhys-Davies, who's Dogati, who is a Turkish maybe arms dealer or slave dealer.
He's
a man of
definitely
many
Turkish
things.
because
They say it every 5 seconds.
they say it every 5 seconds, but in a derogatory way, like, you fucking dumb Turks, you're all cowards, you're all a bunch of pieces of shit.
Colonel Bockner calls him a Turkish imbecile probably 12 times throughout this film.
Yeah.
It aggravates the character. Like, the character is reacting to it, but I mean, it is culturally insensitive all throughout this film. Even on the villain's end, it's kind of bananas.
So yeah, we're introduced to these guys, and from the get-go, like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why.
True.
I don't know why Allan Quatermain and Sharon Stone are hanging out. I don't know why the German guy and John Rhys-Davies are hanging out. At one point in conversation, Allan Quatermain says, "You paid me to help you get to the house of ISIS," and that was it. And we later find out, so I'm thinking, like, okay, the house of ISIS is like, like a ruin or, an archaeological destination. No, it's a store. The House of Isis is a store that they are trying to get to.
That is correct. You could find that at Cherry Creek Mall. It's on the second floor. Lovely store.
It has
beautiful soaps, potpourris.
It had a fucking sign.
So Dogati gives us a little bit of background about Allan Quatermain.
Yeah.
He's a man of principle. That's all we know. That's all he really says. And as Mike said, that we find out that Sharon Stone's character Jessie hired him to find his father, assuming that he's an expert in something. In this movie, we find out none of that.
Yeah.
But I noted it's 8 minutes into the film that we find out that Sharon Stone hired this guy. Like, we are going cut scenes from people to people, Sharon Stone having conversations. We have no idea what anyone's doing. And it's like, I hired you to find my father.
And her father was the one that was being forced to translate the weird statue in the beginning. And her father is in this movie for about 19 seconds and is completely inconsequential to the plot.
That is all super correct.
Like, he does come back and does nothing. But but anyway, that none of that fucking matters. The German guy and John Rhys-Davies are talking. They're trying to find something, which turns out to be King's. I mean, the name of the movie kind of guides you through this.
Right. So they eventually get to more of like a, like an open shop area, and holy shit.
Oh yeah,
it is Indiana Jones ripoff after Indiana Jones ripoff.
That is exactly what I wrote down. Yeah, they're in kind of like this like open
insane.
Market bazaar. Yeah, and like hijinks are ensuing. Sharon Stone gets wrapped in a fucking rug.
Right. Okay. So Sharon Stone is wrapped in a rug, just like Indiana Jones. And all these kids are surrounding Allan Quatermain. And this also happens in the bazaar in Indiana Jones, because the Germans are going to give Indiana Jones trouble, and all those kids surround him in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they're like, hey, and they're like, I'm going to see you in 10 minutes. And Indiana Jones like has like some one-liner like, at least it bought me 10 minutes or whatever. But yeah, so kids are interfering, super Indiana Jones. And the lead female actress is now in a rug, and it's like a sleight of hand, like smoke and mirrors, like, which rug is it? What's going on? I cannot believe this is the first 10 minutes of the film.
No, it's bananas. And this all kind of comes to pass because the German guy and John Rhys-Davies see Quartermain, and John Rhys-Davies says, Quartermain, which he'll say 8,500 times throughout the duration of this movie. And they recognize that whatever they're doing here, whatever Quartermain and Sharon Stone are doing here, they need to be involved in it because it's probably germane to their quest.
Then we get a hard pan to a mummified cat. Just out of nowhere, just a mummified cat.
Well, they want you
my,
to know.
My only note was, what kind of store is this?
But the lady in the carpet thing resolves itself. Quartermain triumphs, and they end up in the house of Isis, which is a store.
That's the mummified cat.
That's the mummified cat. Yep. And they see this shady looking dude, and Sharon Stone says, "Are you Kazam?" And he's like, "My name is Kazam, but yes."
Yeah, and fun story. So, okay. Sharon Stone's character is super weird for me. She said she went with her father. She said, "I'm a student of archaeology." I think she says that later on.
Mm-hmm.
So she's mispronouncing this guy's name. Okay, I would think she's a little more world traveled. And the guy says that's not the pronunciation of his name.
Right.
And that is then how Allan Quatermain references him through the rest of the film.
As Kazam, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, Kazam back there was doing this. I was like, oh my God, even you are supposed to be this world traveler. The dude just told you his name.
Right. Well, this would have been before, I think, archaeology was kind of brought into the fold as a discipline of anthropology. So archaeologists back in the day were probably pretty racist.
Yeah, I mean, I would based on this, definitely. But Allan Quatermain says he knows all these languages. They try to show that like he says like a word here and there in like different languages, even if like I have no idea if that is even accurate, like or are they just saying things? But you would think that he himself would be like, I've traveled enough to maybe be able to pronounce people's names, especially when they just tell it to me. But
right,
but not so fast. Yeah, so, that was just super weird. Oh, so they get into the shop, and all of a sudden, this guy is putting this weird bracelet around Jessie's neck and then her hands, and it's clearly like a old Egyptian, like, I don't know, like binding device. It's like basically handcuffs to her neck and arms. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing? And he's doing this not even very casually. He does this directly.
She's asking like, I'm looking for my father. He was here, something map. And Kazam is like, oh, you're a beautiful lady. You look really good in this jewelry. And she's like, yeah, well, okay, whatever. And he is like basically binding her while she is arguing with him because she's a huge fucking moron. And she does not know what's happening.
Yeah. So I would say the comparisons mainly for Indiana Jones come from Raiders of the Lost Ark. A lot, like 90% of it. But a good 10% are Temple of Doom. And that's when you're in the jungle with these two. And this is their take on Kate Capshaw as Willie. So Willie, if I would hope our listeners have seen Temple of Doom, Willie is, complaining about things. There's bats, there's snakes, I can't touch this. But she has these one-liners, and they're well placed in Temple of Doom. She's fun. I don't want to eat snakes. I don't want to sleep in the jungle. I see where Willie's coming from, but Sharon Stone's character is bewildered throughout the entire film.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's going on? What's happening? Where are we? Like, why is this person here at all?
Yeah, nobody knows.
You're a D minus student in archaeology. P.S.
Right. But anyway, so Quartermain shows up, realizes that Kazam is being a dick.
Yeah, comes through the ceiling,
rescues her a little bit, and is trying to piece together what's going on. And notices a mummy in the corner that says not for sale. And he's like, not for sale? You're a big greedy piece of shit. So everything's for sale. So this is a clue.
And he also has this. If you don't start talking, I'm going to start slicing.
Yeah. Well, and slice he does. He slices open this fucking mummy, and we find out it's Rupert. Who's Rupert? I don't fucking know.
Right. Also, the guy, the shopkeep is like, hey, buddy, this is a real mummy. And he's like, I smell the glue on it. He's like, what?
Right. This is an ancient Egyptian glue.
So this guy's selling corpses, like fresh corpses.
Right. Like this is like a newly dead person. And they cut it open and Sharon Stone goes, oh my God, it's Rupert. We've never seen Rupert before. He's never mentioned again, but he's dead and he's mummified.
The big twist is it's Rupert. And then like after 30 seconds of dialogue, and we still don't know who the hell this guy is. It's like, my father might be alive. That was my father's assistant.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
What the hell?
Right. Inside of Rupert, basically, is a statue.
He's just holding it.
Yeah, and it's the map. It's the map from earlier, but nobody knows this. So Sharon Stone grabs it and starts trying to beat the shit out of everybody with it, and breaks it.
Yeah.
And Kazam freaks out. He's like, you broke my statue. It's the thing.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, so this is me going back to Allan Quatermain's not very good. Kazam starts shooting. So Kazam gets a gun,
Yeah.
shoots the gun out of Allan Quatermain's hand. And he's like, oh my God.
One
So-
brilliant shot and then can't hit anything else for the rest of the day.
Right. Well, then Sharon Stone goes to get the gun and he shoots the gun out of her hand too.
He can only shoot guns out of people's hands. He can't hit people.
He has a skill set and it is great.
Yeah. Quartermain pulls a stick of dynamite out of his pocket.
Okay. Okay. This starts a little trend. And that I just started writing this. So hashtag this crazy son of a bitch. This guy's throwing dynamite left and right. Like
Yeah.
that's his go-to now. He's just dynamite guy.
He is. That becomes his key move for the next couple scenes. Kazam grabs the dynamite and he blows up.
Yep. And it works. When you
yeah.
start throwing dynamite around.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strong move. And I don't really... okay, this movie was an hour and a half long. It felt like I was watching it for 5 years.
There's a sequel.
Yeah, no, we're never going to watch that. I had a hard time tracking a lot of what was going on. More than usual. But so okay, Kazam's blown up. He's like, Quartermain says, we've got to go to Barumba, to the mines.
Yeah.
King Solomon's mines, which are in Barumba.
But they are aware that this German colonel does have Jesse's father.
Yeah, they figured that out. What I don't understand is this movie plays King Solomon's mine off like it's a big mystery, but literally everyone in this fucking movie already knows where it is and how to get there.
Oh yeah, this is like up the street. Like there's a couple things I want to note about location. One, it seems like the mines are probably like 2 miles away from where they're at. Like it's really not that far.
Right.
And there is a German outpost every 10 feet.
Yes. Correct.
And if you need anything, supplies, planes, ammunition, just, pop a German soldier in the face and he's going to go down and then you're going to get away scot-free because that's what I've learned in this movie. You could do anything.
Yeah, so they Quartermain steals a car by pretending a cigar is dynamite, but it might be dynamite anyway because it does blow up at some point.
Yep. Again, I wrote crazy son of a bitch.
Crazy son of a bitch. He's escaping in the car. He stops to free some slaves, which pleases everybody.
Yeah, that was a nice move. Allan Quatermain, man, it was the people.
Yeah. And so Quartermain, Sharon Stone, and Umbobo are just booking it out of town in a car. Well, no, I should say Umbobo won't be in the car. He's running alongside of it while they're driving.
Very counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on.
No one
He
does.
does not like vehicles.
He doesn't. He doesn't seem to.
No.
But speaking of vehicles, after driving the car for a while, they see a train that they decide they want to be on because that's where the Germans are with Sharon Stone's dad.
Yeah. So, okay, let's put Allan Quatermain back to the test. So he's like, okay, he's not very good with a gun. He gets shot out of his hand. He falls through glass ceilings, luckily to save people. So
Yeah.
luck is on his side. So he comes up with this plan. He's like, we're gonna park this car on the train tracks, and the train is going to stop. And we see inside of the train, and the German colonel's like, nah, this could be a trap. Just plow through.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Allan Quatermain's like, it's gonna stop.
They're going to stop the train.
And Sharon Stone's not sure about that. And they don't. They plow right through the car. And then they all have to run and get on the train.
Yeah.
So Allan Quatermain is not good with guns. He's not good with deductive reasoning. He's not good with logic. I'm not quite sure he does know the languages he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy was hired. I don't know his backstory. It seems bad.
Everything that happened on this train was fucking bananas.
Yep, it sure is.
So let's talk about a few of those points in not necessarily any particular order. There's a fight underneath the train.
Oh, wait, Mike. This is when I looked at you in real time. I wrote, I don't know how to, what did I write here?
You don't know how to explain this in words, I think. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think it goes, I don't know how to articulate and annotate the things that are happening currently.
No. So they're sneaking across the train, trying to be sneaky about it, but it doesn't really work. Allan Quatermain gets into a fight underneath the train.
Yeah, he opens a door with a shotgun out. So
this part, is this the bugle fake out?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he had a shotgun. So when he was in a gunfight and his handgun was shot out of his hand, maybe you want to take out the shotgun that you have, that he was like, we got to hide. But now going back, he goes into some weird train car and he's like, with his shotgun. And there's like
50 people in there.
Yeah, like 50 German soldiers. And then he's like, no, put him down. This was
you passed the test, buckos.
This is like an Eddie Murphy moment in like Trading Places. Like, him like trying to talk his way out of it, and it works. They're all like putting their guns down. Then he picks up a bugle, as Mike notes, and he's like, doo-da, doo-da, good job, everyone, doo-da.
Yeah.
What? The hell is that?
So a train car full of German soldiers were like, oh yeah, this American guy is testing us. He's one of us, and he's going to play a bugle song for us. He's not the one guy that we're looking for. Sharon Stone, on the other hand, makes it through a train car of armed Germans by slutting it up a little bit.
Yeah, she's speaking, some like minor German and kind of just smiling, and everyone's just super stoked that this, young, attractive woman is standing next to all of their artillery. Good times.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, it works to some extent because her and Quartermain meet up on the top of a train car, the train car containing her father, who is having the shit beat out of him by Chief Inspector Dreyfus, who keeps breaking his riding crops and requesting new ones.
And then Sharon Stone falls through a window that kind of opens.
Yeah, because she's a super fucking klutz.
Falls through
this window,
sort of, and Allan Quatermain is just holding her for a very lengthy period of time. I mean, like everyone sees this. Like it's not like she falls through and like no one sees it. It's like she fell through 3 feet right in front of someone's face.
Right. So she's in there. Everyone in the train car starts shooting through the roof trying to kill Quartermain, and he's doing some dancing on the top.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is like one step away from like Benny Hill. So he's dancing, so like people are shooting the roof. He starts dancing, and this is this crazy thing. So one, I don't know exactly what happens. So in between each train car, clearly there's spaces. He falls between a space and looks like he lands on his testicles on the connecting bolt or whatever, like that train coupling unit would be, or like whatever that like the device would be. Then immediately falls to the train tracks, immediately like becomes thin and pencil-like, and then the train rides over him. He comes out from the back, grabs some mysterious chain.
Yeah, he's doing like a train jet ski kind of thing.
As he puts both of his legs on each track and slides his way back to the train.
He's good at this, yeah.
I wrote, is this out of Three Ninjas?
I don't know. But he kind of like climbs under the train, and in the train car with Sharon Stone, there's a fat German who is saying some weird stuff. It's Sharon Stone, her father, and this fat German who was left to torture them or whatever. He's like, yes, I am finding you very attractive. I don't know why I said it like that. And she's like, you're gross. He's like, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to your dad. I want to fuck your dad. But I'll fuck you too, like whatever. So he starts taking his pants off. And Allan Quatermain, who is under this train, shoots his dick right off.
Yeah. That's that kind of movie. You didn't really expect that.
No.
Also, before, like, Allan Quatermain was fighting this big thug guy.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the hammer.
And then, like, Mbopo just, like, he doesn't like the train, but he's covering his eyes.
Yeah, but the minute Quartermain needs help, he runs over and, like, takes care of business.
Yeah, he just, like, pops that guy, pop, pop, and he's like right off,
Yeah.
right off the train. So problem solved.
Yeah. So they, problem solved. They disconnect the train car that the father's in, which happens to be the caboose, and they kind of slide away. Something. Her father leaves and never comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Quartermain just slides in this one-liner. They're like, we still need to go find the mines. And there is kind of this Indiana Jones thread that does a little bit work for the story, and it's, we can't let these people get any of this. Like, meaning like Quartermain and Jesse, they're like, we've researched this. I don't really know why. It's just worth a lot of money, I guess.
Right.
And there's no like mystical powers. There's no like turning of the tides. But I guess it's just the money that they need. And they're like, we cannot let the enemy get this because they need it.
Well, yeah, the German guy.
He says later that it would like turn the war around.
That's the thing. I don't know if maybe he mentioned that earlier and I missed it, but later, yeah, he's like, with all this money, like Germany will win the war for sure. So maybe the thought process that they didn't fill us in on was like, yeah, because I mean the conceit of the movie early on is like, we got to find my father. They do, and they're like, hey father, go fuck off. We have to go find this diamond.
Right, but he basically finding him was and if they don't do this well, I'm guessing is he confirms exactly where the mines are.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that was shown to us. I think I'm filling in some blanks.
You 100%. No, but you're right.
But and then we also get a tone shift where Quartermain looks at Jesse and he's like, "Hey, I don't believe in the mines, but I'm beginning to believe in you."
Yeah.
Like,
right.
what?
So like I'm guessing that they're going for they're trying to get there before the Germans because they don't want the Germans to get the money to win the war. This isn't explained to us, but that's the best I can come up with.
Right. And so as I noted before, there's a German outpost every 5 seconds. And hey, there's just a bunch of planes. And they're like,
Yeah.
we just need to go get in those planes and fly away.
Yeah, so they take a plane.
And they do.
It goes poorly,
Absolutely.
but they take it.
They play some plane chicken in the air.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a battle. To defeat the other plane, Quartermain kicks the other pilot in the face, which seems improbable.
That's how close their plane gets to theirs. So it's like those Red Baron planes where they're open.
Yeah, it's like a World War II like biplane.
So yeah,
World War I biplane.
Jesse is flying and Allan Quatermain's on a wing and gets so close to the other plane he's able to kick the guy unconscious and he flies off.
Yeah, but then their plane has sustained some kind of damage. She's like, it's smoking, oh no. And Quartermain's like, we'll have to set her down. But instead of just landing it, let's fucking jump out of it.
No. Before they do that, they spot the colonel and
oh yeah, they see them on the ground.
and Dogati. Yeah, and they're like, hey, let's just go like raise a little hell with them. So first, this is their plan. The plane is damaged. They see like, I don't know, 150 people. They're like, let's go wing them.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah, so they buzz them.
So they do, and it's kind of weird. It kind of works. So all of their like hired crew runs off because they're afraid. And then, as I note, Jesse starts dropping bombs on their moms.
Yeah.
She's like, "What are these?" And he's like, "Throw them to the ground. You'll find out."
Let's find out.
She's just dropping bombs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is where the plane kind of sustains some damage. That they, rather than landing the plane, they just jump out of it. They get close to the ground and jump out of it.
Right.
Which is obviously, I don't know if any of you are pilots listening, but that's, I imagine, what you would do.
I just assume you're all pilots.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, of course, a flying plane, I'll just totally jump out of it. And they're lucky enough to buy themselves a little time because, as I said, the crew disperses into the woods because they're afraid of the plane and the bombs. But, basically we're left with Bockner, the German colonel, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And he's like, look, all of the crew's coming back. Well, they respect my authority. Whoops. Mike's favorite animal, stampede of elephants comes through.
There's some elephants, yeah.
Yeah. And they run. Everyone just runs.
Everyone just scatters. But now, at this point, Quartermain and Sharon Stone get captured by some cannibals. Right? Is that what happens next?
I believe they are captured by the upside down people.
No, that's way later.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Oh, that's right, because they go from problem to problem.
These guys can't not get captured by some kind of tribe.
Yeah, and when they are eventually released, it's back into problems, which I thought was weird. Yes, okay, so first they encounter a tribe of cannibals.
Yeah.
So they meet them, and then there's some weird dance, and then one of the members has gold. And Jesse's like, listen, that's probably from the mine. See, it's real. And everyone's super happy. And then they're both forced into a comically sized pot.
Yeah, there's a giant, like, cauldron. This was my favorite Sharon Stone moment.
Where she's in water with onions and peppers?
No, before... they're in a giant cauldron with, like, nothing but plastic corn.
Yeah,
for some reason.
It's like 3 yellow peppers and, like, 1 onion.
Right. No, but... like when she's realizing, because Quartermain's like, they're gonna have us for dinner. She's like, oh, I could eat, yeah. He's like, no, they're gonna fucking eat us. And she turns around and sees this cauldron, and she just makes like this kind of like glottal noise, like. Do you remember that? Yeah, she's like, and then she says, "Oh goodness gracious." And then they're forced into this fucking pot.
Pot
full of lukewarm water.
I noted the same thing in my notes. You think they would be in boiling water because it's a flame outside of it. No, they just jump in and he's
they
like...
didn't preheat
and he said, it's gonna get hotter.
It's gonna get hotter.
He's also wearing like a bandolier of like elephant gun bullets. Like
right.
Maybe that's not what you want in your soup. So they come up with this plan where he's like, follow me. She's like, is there a way out of here?
They're
in a pot.
Yeah, he dives down and he's like, maybe we can roll this. And she's like, oh, did you find a door? He's like, no, you fucking bitch. I didn't find a goddamn door. Help me roll this thing.
So they're kicking it, like they're swimming and like going diagonal to diagonal and kicking it. So we, as the audience, could see the outside of it. Gallons of water are bursting out of it. And clearly... I don't know how they kept the flames going, like in reality.
Oh, yeah.
Because so much water is coming out of this. So then they eventually are able to kick it, and it just rolls. It rolls and rolls and rolls. It rolls so far and fast down the hillside. Mm-hmm. I just have to imagine, like, and I know nothing about medicine. I have to imagine you have internal brain damage.
Oh, they would be, yeah.
Like, I don't even know what would happen to you. Like, You're going so fast, rolling in a pot, and then the pot stops into a lion's den.
Yeah, so they look out. They're like, finally, we're safe. And then they look out, and then there's a lion there, and it's like, roar. But then the lion kind of just sits down, and it folds its paws under its head, like in a Glamour Shots photo. And Quartermain and Sharon Stone are just like kind of like making googly eyes at each other. And I think that lion watches them fuck in that pot.
I wrote, then they make out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, a lion. The lion's like, rah. And they're like, let's just make out in this water. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you got some onion in your hair. And she's like,
should I have onion in my hair all
then
the
they
time?
make out. Yeah, and then it's alluded that they just had sex in a...
And the lion was watching them.
In a water pot in front of a lion.
Yeah.
This movie takes a lot of turns. A lot of twists and turns. A lot of things you wouldn't normally see.
So at this point, the Germans show up and slaughter this tribe.
And then the lions run off.
And this is where...
Yes, this is
the upside down people.
I kind of like this scene. So all of a sudden, Allan Quatermain...
I thought this fucking sucked.
This is just weird. Like, Allan Quatermain and Jesse are walking, and all of a sudden people... Imagine they're on bungee cords. Like, imagine someone just comes down like, bloop, and just scoops you up into the branches.
Yeah.
I only kind of liked it because it reminded me of, like, a video game. Like, this was where, like, this is where you find the ultimate weapon. Like, or we're going to give you the hint that you've been looking for this whole time.
Yeah.
Instead, they just feed them grapes.
Yeah,
and they clean their clothes.
Yeah, they pull them up like they do Sharon Stone's laundry. Sorry for all the coughing. I just got a weird tickle in my throat. They're talking. They're like, what is this? Like, who are these people?
They're the Abugwa tribe.
Right. Well, so Quartermain goes from like being really confused. He's like, oh, you know what? This is probably the Mbugwa tribe or whatever. They're guardians. And she's like, oh, how do you know? He's like, well, legend has it that they're always upside down. She's like, oh, well, then it's probably fucking them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. They live upside down because they didn't like how the world was.
Yeah, so they wanted to change it through their actions. during this time, the Germans, well, now it's kind of like half German, half Turkish soldiers that have combined, come, through the woods. But I don't know how this, this tribe knows that they're bad people because they're not doing anything. But immediately they come down and then
they start fucking killing them.
Yeah, there's like gunshots. Now there's kind of war. So this tribe brings Jesse and Allan Quatermain to safety, and how they know this is they rappel down. They're in this like enclosed area farther away from the Germans and the Turkish soldiers that are coming, and all of a sudden the statue pops up, and Sharon Stone's like, "Oh my god!" And Allan Quatermain's like, "Whoa, it's the same statue that we saw before."
Right. They're showing us how to get there.
Right. So awesome. And we'll go back to the German soldiers here in a second. Immediately, Allan Quatermain and Jesse are like 5 feet on the path. There's like 10,000 soldiers, and now these people are against them.
Yeah,
like,
they're
what
captured
the hell kind
by
of path was this?
It was like a new tribe of people who fucking hated them.
Immediately.
Yeah, so they're captured again, and they tie Quartermain upside down above an alligator pit.
And the Germans basically get through, but like a lot of them are
Right.
kind of like taken down.
And
Their numbers are definitely down.
This is where we realize that Sharon Stone has feelings. She's like, "Don't kill him, I love him."
Yeah, it's super weird. Like, one, no one's speaking English. And she's like, and they keep showing her. She's like, no, don't kill. He's nice.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
Come on, please don't
He's
kill
a
him.
nice guy.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Who are you talking to? And she's like, not pleading. It's just like matter of fact, like, hey, Mike, you want to get a cup of coffee?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Sure. Don't
Yeah.
kill that guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's nice. Don't kill him. I love him, I think. I don't know.
I'll take that with whipped cream.
But Mbopo rolls in, fucking takes care of business again, saves the day.
He does.
Yeah.
And tells everyone that he's like part of like a tribe that knows about Solomon's mines.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. This guy who's been with him the whole time is like, all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm like a keeper of King Solomon's mines. I know all this shit.
Yeah, and Allan Quatermain's like, whoa, what?
Like, yeah, that would have been helpful earlier. But the Germans show up and they fuck things up. They take Sharon Stone.
No. There is a...
Oh, no, not the Germans don't take Sharon Stone.
There is a tribe witch, and
Yeah.
this witch and some of her henchmen take Sharon Stone
Yeah.
for witchy purposes.
Yeah, we'll find out what those are later.
And then a lot of the numbers of Dogati are shortened because before Sharon Stone is captured, they kind of have to go through this. It looks like a big pond, but Mbopo is like, go this way. And then Sharon Stone is captured 5 seconds later. But all the Germans and the Turkish soldiers don't go on the side step. They kind of go through the middle, and then they are forced to go through quicksand, which is crazy. And then some people start sinking. And then Dogati shoots everyone in the quicksand and is like, now we're just going to walk on their corpses.
He uses the corpses as a path, which is great.
Which is problematic, though, because now it's basically Bockner, Dogati, and like maybe 5 soldiers. Like there's very few of them left.
Yeah. So meanwhile, inside, so yeah, basically we're in King Solomon's mine right now. That's the structure that we are up against.
I will throw this out here.
Okay.
I actually really liked, I don't want to say really, I overall liked when they're in King Solomon's mines. It became a lot more fun, this film for me.
Agreed. It lended a sense of urgency. Like it was still ripping off Indiana Jones, like with the thing that you couldn't step on and all the traps. But it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
They've got Sharon Stone like up on some precipice, and they're trying to lower some kind of lava hat onto her head. I don't know what the fuck was going on in the scene.
Yeah, no clue whatsoever. At one point in time, the Upside Down tribe gives her basically like this like cool crystal tiara.
Yeah.
And then this witch takes it, and I don't know if that was the same thing. They're trying to put some red glowing thing. It might be that. It might not. I have no idea what the hell's going on.
But yeah, but basically that like this whole place is full of fucking lava.
And also Shiva is in ice or in some kind of...
Oh yeah, they see the Queen of Sheba and she's like, yeah, in a crystal.
Yep.
But that's never mentioned again.
And they were like, she knew she had to give up her power to always have her power.
Right. Well, Mbopo is here, and he's explaining fucking everything because he just knows all this shit. He's like, yeah, so like this is that, and she's in this crystal, and like you got to wear this hat. It's It's fucking
Yeah, here's the. I didn't know Mbobo like knew English up until this point in time. Like he
Right.
said like nothing at all, and we were like, he's wearing like again like a lion's mane toga.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm led to believe, and this guy has like librarian-esque knowledge of everything that is happening around us now. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so he's explaining this shit. Meanwhile, back outside, the Germans are trying to get in. The main German, what's his name?
Bockner.
Bockner.
He sends a Turkish soldier in to be eaten by a
Well,
Lord of the Rings-esque spider.
Yeah, Shalhoub. What's the spider from Lord of the Rings called?
Is it Tony Shalhoub?
It's Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub, the spider from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's in there. Well,
Show him that those elf tears. Was that in that jar?
yeah, but previous to this, he shoots the fuck out of John Rhys-Davies.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
But yeah. So he's like, I'm in charge. Fuck this guy. Get in there. And this guy gets eaten by this giant spider.
And then there's basically no one else.
Yeah, and we never see the spider again.
Oh yeah, the spider is cool.
But then, yeah, and now we're introduced to the diamond room.
Oh, where they actually get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, we did it. Sharon Stone and Allan Quatermain find a room full of gold and diamonds.
Yeah.
Mainly diamonds. And they start Goonies-esque looting the hell out of it. And I would too. They're putting it in their pockets. They're putting it everywhere. They're like, let's take all that we could carry and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
That's the plan. I like that plan.
No, it's a great plan, but it doesn't fucking work because there's traps.
And the ceiling comes down
Yeah.
like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. And we get all these stalactites coming down, which makes no sense because there's all these like boxes. So the problem, let me try to explain this to the viewers who have not seen this. They're like, okay, maybe we could stall the ceiling coming down. So we're gonna put up this like concrete slab from one of the chests.
Yeah, doesn't
but
fucking work.
it breaks through. But here's the thing: there's like 17 boxes in the room. Like, just get on your stomach,
Right.
Because they all stop. They eventually stop it with some kind of like brick or stone, and simultaneously Bockner, once again, someone's got some dynamite, throws some dynamite, and we're waiting for that to go off. But as Allan Quatermain stalls the room once again, water starts flowing in. So now they're going to drown.
And there's snakes,
Oh yeah, and there's just random snakes flowing.
which Quartermain yells at. He's like, get out of here, snakes, because she doesn't like the snakes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though when the water comes in. So it's like one problem to another, and it's when the water comes in, Allan Quatermain's face is so astonished. It's like I feel like in real life, no one told the actor like we're just gonna flood this room with
It did
water.
look like that. He was like,
Yeah, it just looks like you got to be kidding me. Like, are you just give up? I'm
Right.
done. Like, let's just die.
yeah. But then the dynamite does go off.
Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. And the room drains. They get sluiced out of there. The ceiling resets. The German, what's his fucking name?
Bockner.
Bockner. My notes just say Dreyfus.
Dreyfus Bockner.
Dreyfus Bockner. He walks in. He's like, yeah, this is sick. There's diamonds in here. I'm going to take all of them. And he starts putting them in his pockets. But lo, who shows up again? John Rhys-Davies.
And the witch is teleporting around doing witch stuff during this time.
Yeah, the witch is doing weird shit. She just kind of like bounces around, and then she jumps into the lava for some reason.
And explodes.
And explodes into a mushroom cloud. But yeah, John Rhys-Davies shows up because the Bockner is like, these are for me, and these are for me. And John Rhys-Davies shows up. He's like, and what for me?
And my axe. And,
yes.
and your axe. Touch axes.
They do touch axes. And he's like, no, but I shot you earlier. He's like, no, it's an old Turkish trick. And he had like a plate in his shirt.
That's
Yeah.
look that up. Plate in your shirt. Yeah, so he comes up with this weird plan. He's like, now you're going to be my mule. And you're going to... This is where Bockner's like, oh my God, we're going to be heroes. Like, all of this fortune, we're going to turn the war around. Like, Germany will win. We'll be heroes. He's like, I don't want to be a hero. I just want this cash. Start filling your pockets and start eating, i.e.
Like,
swallowing the stones.
I'm going to fill you up with these fucking diamonds.
Yeah,
and
he's
I'm
like,
going to
you're
take
mad.
you out of here.
You're mad.
You're mad.
Mad, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is where the old lady jumps into the magma. There's a mushroom cloud.
Yep, she just straight up explodes.
Yeah, she's not. No one coerces her into this. She just does it of her own volition. But the ceiling caves in on John Rhys-Davies, and he's buried and he's bleeding. And now Bockner's like, sucker.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna shoot the ceiling even more. Like, I won't personally kill you. I'm just gonna bury you alive.
Yeah, so he shoots the ceiling. It falls down. He's like,
which starts like a huge problem.
Yeah.
Like now there's like cave-ins everywhere. There's like like Bockner gets his gun, and I was like, oh, like he feels great about it. Like he finds like a handgun, and then his first move is he unloads all the bullets into the ceiling. Like I would not do that.
I would have saved a couple.
Yeah, probably because you have all of these diamonds, and you are the only one left who needs to get the hell out of this jungle and back to outpost whatever.
Right. So they're all trying to get out of here. Mbopo, yeah, whatever, is with
You say Mbop.
Mbop, is with Sharon Stone and Quartermain, with the German guy hot on their heels, and they're like, the path is kind of obscured because the Germans stepped on the wrong thing earlier. But Mbobo is like, oh, you know what? There's like a secret panel here. I'll just reset it because I know fucking everything about this place.
He resets this like a 1984 action play set. You just turn a little lever and like, boom, those rocks are back up. And next time someone falls in that trap, it's weird. Also, I want to talk about this trap. So it was a stone that you're not supposed to step on.
It was bright fucking red.
Yeah.
And it was the only one that was
It's
red.
like painted red in the middle of everything. You would just like assume maybe I shouldn't
would
do
have
that.
definitely not stepped on it.
And when the first guy does it, he just kind of like dies in a whirlpool. I just want to note that because that is not trap 2.
Yeah, that is not trap 2. So they're getting out of there. They reset it. And Bockner comes up and he's like, fuck you guys. Give me all your diamonds. Put them in my hat.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like his hat is filled with diamonds, but he's taking his hat off.
He's wearing his hat, which is full of diamonds. They're on his goddamn head. But Chamberlain, Quartermain's like, oh yeah, no, you can have the diamonds. I'm just going to put them here on the floor, right in front of the thing you're not supposed to step on. He's like, okay, I'll go get them. And he steps on the thing, and this time, instead of there being a whirlpool, he gets eaten by a dinosaur.
I wrote giant sea donkey.
Yeah, I mean,
a sea donkey comes from the sea.
Was it supposed to be a hippo? Because it had like horns and shit. I don't know.
That was not a creature that has ever roamed Earth.
No,
but the majestic sea donkey does away with him.
Yeah. So now they're like, finally, we can get out of here. Everyone's dead. But no.
Dogati back.
John Rhys-Davies is back.
Damn dude's like a cat.
Yeah, he can't stop not dying.
Can't stop stopping.
So Quartermain's like, okay, Mbobo, get fucking Sharon Stone out of here. I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy.
And they do fight.
And they do fight for a little bit.
And then he sets Dogati on fire.
Yes.
And damn, what's crazy is Dogati is clearly on fire, but for the next minute, he's still fighting Allan Quatermain.
Yeah,
he's not on fire.
Yeah, he had an agenda.
And then he explodes.
Then he explodes in the lava.
You touch that hot lava, you explode.
Quartermain gets out of there, meets back up with Mbopo and Sharon Stone. And Mbopo's like, oh, by the way, I'm the king of these people.
Yeah, and Mbopo has the shittiest advice that really pisses me off. He's like, you know what? I made you put back all the diamonds because the diamonds belonged in the mines.
Yeah.
And that's okay because you were the last to see them.
Right.
And that memory will stay with you for the rest of your life, and that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'd be like, bullshit, dude. Like, I could have been rich. I could have retired. The memory will haunt me. You are correct that I could have done well.
Yeah, like, that's great for you. You're a fucking king. Like, I got to get to America.
And I want to slowly go through the last one moment of this scene. So he's like, I love you all. And Sharon Stone and Allan Quatermain, or Jesse and Allan Quatermain, they start walking out of the village. And the villagers straight up shut a gate behind them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's really weird. Like, bye, everybody. Clink. Like, keep going.
The villagers are all dancing behind this closed gate.
Yeah, like, they're clearly happy.
Yeah,
these two
like, finally,
jackasses
these bozos are gone.
So Allan Quatermain's like, hey, Mbopo might not be too happy. And Jesse's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I don't want you and your father to leave empty-handed. And pulls out a fist-sized, perfectly cut diamond. And Sharon Stone's like, whoa, what? I have one too. And takes another one out. Also, they're 1 foot in front of all of the villagers.
Yes.
Like everyone could see them. You're holding a diamond the size of your fist. You're each now doing it a foot in front of them both.
Correct.
Who told you not to take them?
Yeah.
And then they make out and the movie's over.
Correct.
So, Mike, how much do you want to see the sequel to this film?
Honestly, I know earlier I said there's no fucking way I'm going to watch it. I would 100% watch the next one.
Yeah, we're probably going to wind up watching this.
I don't know that I want to talk about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
But I'd watch it.
Maybe. I mean, this movie is worse. That's what people said. I
Wait,
don't know.
The second one is worse?
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It's Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold from 1986.
Okay, so
and I believe it's a different director, which is weird.
Oh, weird. So they're in, I would imagine it's in South America is the next one?
Mike, who knows? It's all misdirection.
Yeah. So what did you think of this movie?
This movie's crazy. This movie is plagiarism 101. This movie is not even pretending not to be Indiana Jones.
No, I agreed.
I mean, that's what I don't know. Like, Allan Quatermain is lucky at best. He doesn't seem skillful in anything. Sharon Stone is bewildered at every moment. Umbopo's dope as hell. I don't know his backstory.
No, he's great.
This movie, and then this movie just steals from Indiana Jones. And again, not a little. It just straight up steals. And I don't blame Chamberlain for being like, this is not the script I saw. I signed up for some things, and then there's rewrites and edits. The trivia, I mean, we don't know any of this on IMDb, was Sharon Stone was very difficult to work with.
Yeah.
If you look at the IMDb trivia, was people were urinating in her
He's
bathtub.
in her bathtub, I saw
Like,
that.
what? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, people aren't really happy. They're forced to do this movie back to back. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I am glad I watched this movie. I vaguely remember the end of the next one a little more for some reason, but I'd be willing to watch it. Maybe for this podcast. Definitely it's not going to be the next episode.
Oh, no.
Maybe somewhere down the line. I think Mike would have to have like a 12 drink minimum. So we might need some other people and like basically a mini bar to get through.
Yeah,
some
that's
of those
likely.
things.
Yeah, this movie's just, I don't know. Like, if you want to watch a movie like this that's actually good, you would watch Indiana Jones, one of them.
Yes.
If you want to watch a movie like this that's like wacky and fun, you watch Romancing the Stone, because that movie is dope. Like, there's no, this movie just fills a weird middle ground where it sucks.
I just remember this movie being on TV, and I remember I clearly have seen this movie in its entirety sometime, but I remember just seeing bits and pieces when I was a kid. Just because every time I'd watch it, I'd be like, this isn't one of the two films Mike just noted, and I would just kind of like drift off. I do like the end of this movie, the last 20 minutes. When they get into the mines, I do feel that's fun. It is a somewhat redeemable quality. Like, people found gold. There's still problems. Like, the trope. It is very Indiana Jones, but it's always really fun to see. I will give it to Sharon Stone a bit. I mean, I don't know really anything about Sharon Stone. I've honestly seen Basic Instinct. I've seen Sliver. I saw those movies, over 20 years ago. But I do see not the acting in this movie, but I see the appeal that why someone would like Sharon Stone. She's young, she's attractive in this. I could see why she would be cast in other films based on just who she is. But the acting all around from her and others is not good. And I'm not blaming anyone in this film. I'm blaming the direction and kind of the overseers who should have tightened this up. I mean, as Mike was saying, like, some of the reactions are like, huh? It's really weird.
Yeah, I feel like they did everything in one take, and the director was like, that's fine.
Yeah, we got this other movie.
We'll use that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, we'll jump into this. We'll keep going. Let's separate a little. As always, if you have a movie idea, suggestion, comment, or just want to shower us with praise, write us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. Visit us at rabbittroopsucks.com proper. You could submit inquiries or suggest movies. You could hit us up on Instagram or Facebook at any point in time. We are in contact, and we'd love to hear from you. There's so many weird movies, and we've been going through some requests, and we really appreciate you listening and giving us requests. It's been really cool.
Yeah.
We've had some new guests coming on. We will have more new guests that we have scheduled, which I'm excited for. So that's really cool. But going back to this film, bonkers. This film is bonkers. Again, Allan Quatermain, as I said from early on, he seems like he's from the late 1800s, so they try to keep his character intact, but it's World War I. I mean, we're decades past where this was supposed to be. That's kind of off-putting. The movie's culturally insensitive across the board, but there's some gold at the end, or I should say diamonds, so that's kind of fun.
I mean, there were moments of this movie that I enjoyed, and like I'm not going to do this week's installment of Mike Fixes the Movie because I don't think there was any saving this.
No.
But I mean, there were moments that were entertaining. Like you can see why they wanted to make this movie.
Yeah, totally.
But it didn't land.
Yeah, and I know really little about any of this. Like I know nothing about the book. I don't know the reception of the book.
Yeah.
Really, again, just going to Sean Connery's take on this character. I would like to see Patrick Swayze's version. Maybe I'm not going to rush out. I'm really curious on.
Yeah, knowing that it exists now, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, and it's King Solomon's Mine, so it's this movie done in 2 parts. So
interesting.
And then I saw someone note that like there's a 50s British version.
Oh, yowza. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean this spans like a lot of time. So I definitely will say this. Although this movie isn't super solid, there is a lot to be said about my curiosity of the character of Allan Quatermain. I think that has been established in my views early on. So I would see like other versions. I think it's a cool character. Just whatever the hell this is probably not the pinnacle version that anyone needs to see.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because I mean, in League, Quartermain's like this marksman. He's a brawler. He's a cool guy. In this movie, he's just a big doofus. I wonder what the original Allan Quatermain was written as. Like, was he just like this swarthy, fun adventurer? Was he good at anything? I'm curious as to what this character was meant to be.
Like based on this movie, God knows. Like there is only just guesses and, I don't have a fortune ball.
No.
But I should get one and then find those mines and get those damn diamonds.
Yeah.
I mean, one way we're going to get it. Next week we got a little fun. So to celebrate all of your Colorado 420 needs, we will be analyzing, reviewing, laughing, and embracing the movie How High.
That's correct.
I am very excited about this. I have not seen this movie in ages, and I will share the first time I ever saw this movie, funny enough, which was decades ago. The first person I ever talked about it with was Lamar, who did not believe that I was talking about a movie that ever existed.
No, if you try to explain the premise of this movie to someone who has not seen it, it does not sound like a real thing.
It doesn't.
And we'll explore that next week.
We will. And so just prepare. How high will you be? This will be hitting you up on the 420 weekend.
That's true.
Yeah. And Mike, didn't you have some news to share?
Yeah, I wanted to just add a couple little plugs. One, Rabbit Troop Sucks business. We have a new T-shirt design up in the shop.
Hell yes.
Alternate logo. So if you're a fan of the RTS designs, check that out. And two, I wanted to plug. This is kind of a personal plug for me. A friend of mine whose name is Hamza, who also hosts a kind of Denver-based podcast called Religion of Speed about cars. He is also an artist, and he is funding a Kickstarter for his new graphic novel called The Crystal Compass. This is something that I've contributed to. He's been working on it for a long time. It looks super badass. So I would put that out there to all you Denver folks. If you want to support an awesome Colorado-based artist, I'll post a link in the Instagram. The URL is a little too long for me to say right now. But if you Google Crystal Compass Kickstarter, all those words are spelled normally. You'll find it. Really awesome looking book. Really awesome dude. So yeah, support local artists, and that's my plug. Crystal Compass. Kickstarter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely post it on our sites. For Instagram, it's hard to post like the links, so we could just like tag him in it, and then you can
We'll
post
throw the link to the Kickstarter up there.
and then you'll post the link directly on Facebook. That's awesome. Yeah. Anyone doing any kind of local art or anything, we would clearly, support you. And if you are, I think we've said this before, if you like are going on tour or you're playing some music or you want us to showcase a song of yours or I don't know, anything that we could do. That's just how it all begins. I mean, that's how you make a community. And I mean, we know this from experience that Mike and I have played music and, you just got to get to know people and talk to people and support one another. So, I mean, that's awesome, Mike. Yeah, we will definitely provide the links on all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the meantime, get prepared, everybody, because how high will you be? And I mean that spiritually. I mean that metaphorically. I mean that literally. Yeah, for those of you listening who are not in Colorado, usually everyone just goes to the Capitol and smokes pot. It's super bizarre. And they're like, what are the police going to do? And they do nothing because people are just sitting in the grass smoking pot. Right. That's just what you do. So
that's also a pretty typical just any day of the week for our capital.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. So yeah, as always, hopefully you enjoyed our take on this. We review obscure and forgotten about and often overlooked films. If you want to contribute anything, let us know at any point in time. But as always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Rabbit Troop sucks.
Ah! Is that a snake in the water?
Get away, snake.
That's just Rabbit Troop sucks.